jumping in. So when you first met with Syfy about doing the series, did they ask you if you had like a 3 and 5 year plan, or was it sort of like, you know what I mean? Like how much did they want to know about your future plans for the series if it were to be a hit?
Yeah, it's a good question. When I pitched, which was originally to USA, but it was the same group of people, USA, SciFi, Bravo, was all Universal content. It's all the same sort of grouping. I mean, it's all the same under the same NBC sort of cable banner. Sorry. So the process, I had to pitch a lot of it. I had to pitch very detailed what the first season was going to be. And then a little less detail in seasons 2 and 3. But, you know, I didn't have to have an ending of the show or anything like that, but I had to have a lot of detail. For sure, the first season, I had to break out the whole thing. And then after that, a sense of where it's going, a sense of what where we wanted it heading after the first season. I think that would help them with tone and also to know that I had a plan.
Sure.
What they either knew or didn't know, but is the case, is the plan goes away immediately. Like these things are all organic, growing. You know, you get stuff that you think is going to work and it doesn't work, and then you got to pivot, or you get stuff that you weren't sure was going to work and suddenly, oh wow, wow, Asta and Darcy are really good together. That's a thing now. That wasn't planned from the beginning. But in episode 3 of the first season, suddenly like, oh, wow, they have great chemistry. So then you build that up and you build up that friendship and you try to find those moments where you sort of take all the stuff that's working and sort of feed it. And then it takes you in a place that you may not have expected. And that's certainly what happened with this show. In a lot of cases.
This is obviously a show you're making on a budget, and I'm just curious, how is it in the writer's room when you are writing? Because you can only do so many shots of the full alien, you can only do so many VFX shots. So how does that actually get worked in the writer's room, knowing you have that finite budget to work with?
Yeah, I mean, I had the luxury shooting the pilot or writing the pilot that I had not ever done a show like this before. So I didn't have in my mind these things that I do now that like we can never shoot that. I just wrote it creatively what I wanted to write. Now, once we got into the process of producing the pilot, there was a lot of stuff we couldn't do and, we had to pull it out. But I'm aware of that now going into these things. So in the writer's room, we try to push the envelope. We try to, okay, creatively, what's the best version of this? And the best version of this is we have an alien, a full alien, walking across the glacier. So then you get into the production aspect and you see what you can do. You have a lot of these, you have a balance, there's effects budget, you have a timing issue because whenever Alan Tudyk gets into the, full alien makeup, it takes a few hours and you can't support that in every day. So yeah, you get in the production process of it and you have to whittle things down. So you start with an awareness of what you can't do. There's certain things like we can't do all this. Let's pare it down so we're not killing ourselves in production. But you do push the envelope, this in a perfect world, let's try this. And oftentimes you can't do all of it, but you do as much of it as you can. You do as much as you can practically, and then you try to, clean it up in post and do stuff with visual effects if you can't do it all on the day.
I'm just going to throw out there, but obviously I don't believe you've been picked up for season 3 yet, but how much are you already thinking about season 3 and what you want to accomplish?
At this point, we are maybe 2/3 of the way shooting season 2, and still in the midst of writing that. I haven't finished writing season 2 yet. I have spent zero time thinking about season 3. I am scrambling to keep my head above water in season 2. Have not thought of it one bit, to be honest. I mean, that's not 100% true, actually, because.
So you were lying to me in the interview. I get it.
No. The truth is, as you arc out these characters, and we are in the process of arcing out, like what's the end of season 2, you have to have some awareness of, do we really want to end them here? Because then season 3, if we get one, would be like this. We don't want to do that. So you have a bit of an awareness of like what might be a good setup for a season 3, what might not be, without really knowing what the details of season 3 might be. But there is an awareness in the room, now that we talk about it, of what's the jumping off point into season 3, because that's where you're ending them in season 2. And is this where we want to end Harry in season 2? Because if we do, that means season 3 will be this. And am I going to get to season 3 and say, God, I wish we hadn't done that? So there's an awareness of it. You want to set yourself up for success in the next season. So you want to end the characters in an exciting, fun place so that you have, again, without knowing what the details would be in the future, at least you have a general sense of like, oh, that could be cool to explore that in a new season.
I'm assuming season 2 is 10 episodes.
Season 2 is not 10 episodes. Season 2 is more than 10 episodes. We did 10 last year. The first half of season 2 is 8 episodes. I think the plan is, a lot depends on COVID, but it's split into 2 halves. The first half will be 8. The second half, I think, hopefully will be 8. It's a weird world right now, so there's no guarantees of what's going to happen, but the plan is to do 16.
Knowing that it was supposed to be 16 episodes, did you write episode 8 as a almost mini finale?
Yes. Yeah, it was the most difficult part of this season, structurally, was going from a 10 episode season to a longer season. And it's a different thing. It's not, 10 is there's a reason that these cable shows compress. There's so much more going on in 10 episodes. The problem you have with more episodes is you run the risk of treading water for a while. So what we tried to do is split that chunk, if we do 16, split it into halves. And then the first 8 would build to a mid-season finale that would, be a bit of a cliffhanger, but not like the end of a season. And we do have a good one. So the first 8 does have a bit of a cliffhanger. And then the second 8 builds to something, even bigger. But thematically, both halves are connected. The character arcs, although they may be arced out for each half, the overall arc of each character spans the whole amount of time. So it was very tricky to do, but I think we figured it out.
I have to stop because they gave me the thing, but I'll just say that if you're doing 8 episodes and you're writing it almost like as a mini season, but
yeah,
anyway,
that's
everything's going crazy here. Thank you so much. I really enjoy the show.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it.